Josh Strife has had a bit of a situation where streaming culture is awful. So I would love to actually hear his thoughts on this. I actually respect Josh Strife quite a bit. I think a lot of his takes are very good. I think he has a very good head on his shoulders. So it'd be nice to hear another creator talk about this that just isn't me, Asmongold, and XQC.
All right, listen up, because two important things have happened this week. Two very important things have happened this week. I'm going to tell you about them, because of my stream. That's how that works. Josh, where have you been? Why haven't you been streaming? I'll tell you. Thank you. That's a good question. I'm glad you asked. That sets me up remarkably nicely.
I will say, just being British makes you sound so much smarter than you actually are. So it's really scary when a guy who's actually smart has a British accent and talks. It's impressive.
First of all, can you all admire my Oh Dear Dinah mug from the Alan Wake games?
I'm impressed.
That's one of
I need to play Alan Wake. I've heard very good things, but I've never played it.
the things I've got to tell you about. Alan Wake is so good, I like coffee now.
Is it really that good? How long is Alan Wake?
It's that good as a game. That's
I don't even know what it is or what it's about. I just see so many commercials for it, and I have no idea what you even do.
the highest praise I can put. Like, I thought Alan Wake is the next video on the Was It Good series, and I played all the way through Alan Wake, and obviously I was finding these coffee cups and these coffee little thermoses around the thing, and I thought, you know what, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a try. Yeah, I finished that game in 2 days. It's that good. So Alan Wake is now one of my favorite games of all time, without a doubt. It is. I'm beginning to think that Sam Lake is a legitimate genius. Like, I played Max Payne and thought, this is good, but there's flaws.
Okay, I'm going to need to... This is some very heavy praise.
Then I played Alan Wake and thought, this is better, but there's flaws. However, I can see the potential. So... I mean, I've never met Sam Lake, but I think if I ever do, I want to be able to have that coffee sip thing with him. He's one of the few people working in games now that I think I would be comfortable legitimately calling a genius.
Damn.
His games aren't flawless at all, but I think they're the kind of games that you love in spite of their flaws. So that's my plan. But made myself an Oh Dear Dinah mug. The next thing I'll tell you about is a very important thing that I've got to discuss in a second with all of you. It's a remarkably important thing. We'll wait. People are here. Don't worry. About 400, 500 people joining. We'll get. Yes, I'm accepting the Remedyverse. I'm going to play Control. I'm going to play Quantum Break.
Context. I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about, but I think he's about to get into it.
Got to make sure Visa's here, because without Visa here, he can't farm clips. That's what it is. Okay, cool. There's 500
All right, so we're farming a little bit of clips. Okay, great.
people here. I need to share a secret with you. And this is probably the clip Visa will use. I have worked out that I love streaming.
Yep, same.
And I hate streaming culture.
Welcome to every other streamer on the platform that's not retarded. Everything surrounding streaming culture is just essentially pandering to retards and pandering people who are too stupid to understand the difference between fiction and reality. Everything is psyoped, everything is astroturf, nothing is legitimate, and none of these people give a fuck about you.
I've been analysing it, and it's awful. I hate it. I don't like it at all.
I don't know how you're only now realizing this, but I'm glad that you did realize this.
Because the poster boys for what streaming is...
Yep! They're all black! Ah!
as a medium, are the worst possible examples that we could have.
Yeah, like Rakai and Kai Cenat. Those are the faces of streaming. Imagine that.
People that aren't familiar with streaming will see those rage baiters in real life trying to make people angry just for a prank or a reaction.
Yes, nuisance streamers in real life shit should be honestly against the law, in my opinion. If your entire gimmick is going live and making everybody's days worse in public to people who didn't even consent to be on stream, I think you should just have your entire stream removed from you. There's no need for that.
They'll see idiot man-children running around with far too much money.
True.
They'll see political activists on both the extreme left and the extreme right,
True.
not really trying to push any kind of agenda of their own, but more rile the other side up to reaction or clip farm. You'll see people with basically no knowledge of...
That was a little shout to Hassan, but he was trying to be fair. I don't really know any far-right streamer on Twitch that's trying to rile anybody up. I actually couldn't even think of a single one. He's quite literally only talking about Hassan and Co. I don't know who these big far-right streamers are on Twitch. I don't know any of them. Certainly not Asmongold. Certainly not Asmongold. Asmongold's like generously center. Maybe slightly right-leaning, but he doesn't say that.
Specific subject casting themselves as the Dunning-Kruger king, again, simply to rile up the emotions of people who watch them, and then all of them make an absurd amount of money. I've realized that it is the domain of the...
I'm totally cool with people making an absurd amount of money as long as they're doing it like in a very transparent way. Like I don't really think there's any reason to be angry at them for making that money unless it was like, doing some horrific sponsors for some horrific company. It's just a bag, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to shit anybody for that.
Gifted
Do I agree that they make too much money? Yes. But I'm not going to shit on them for doing that.
man-child in order to, rile up whichever user base and demographic they have decided to make angry at the other side this week. I've realized that it is
However, there is some reason why some streamers have to get some people angry because one side has been far too tolerant for so long to where the other side is completely bowling them over. So sometimes you got to really rally a cause to get the damage to stop.
artistically vapid, it is commercially demonic, and I hate everything about streaming culture in general. However, I like streaming to an audience.
I think you like your stream, you just hate everybody else's product because that's because you're an adult, Josh Strife, and you have to understand the majority of streamers are just immature man-children who have no life experience, have never experienced hardship, got lucky by blowing up by knowing the right person or being in the right place at the right time, and them doing anything they possibly can, burning any bridge, saying anything that they don't believe in to maintain that.
Problem is, in order to step away from the video game jail and become a more socially, culturally relevant streamer, you need to step away from video games and get into either extremely divisive politics or essentially playing to an emotionally immature crowd of essentially either children or young men that haven't matured past being a mental child. And I think that sucks. I think it's horrible. I think it's casting this glorious medium in one of the worst ways.
I don't really think that's the only way to succeed. Jinxie and Queso have done a very good job of succeeding by pretty much majorly only playing video games. But I understand that is how he feels. However, Josh Strife, you have to understand that you play incredibly obscure games, right? And you don't really strive as a video game entertainer because every clip of yours that I see blow up is your intellectual breakdown on like what's going on in the world today. So I think you might just not really understand why people are watching you. And I actually think you would succeed a lot more if you were to do social commentary because that's what I go to you for.
Lowering the bar.
But nobody really wants to watch you watch this game from fucking 1998, because the category's not built that way. And you could say that's a site error for sure, and it partly is.
Barrier effectively into hell. It is the lowest common denominator, and I have decided that I really can't be asked to keep up with any of that, so we're going to pretend it's 1996, and I'm going to play Red Alert while chatting to you guys about shit that matters with your actual life without doing any of the stuff that I think is demeaning the art of streaming into the ground. That's where I'm at.
I'm not going to lie. I'm with him a little bit. I understand his frustration, but this also comes off incredibly bitter and incredibly petty. You have to understand that you can treat streaming as a hobby or you can treat streaming as a career. Right? And it sounds like Josh Strife wants to treat streaming as a hobby while getting career levels of success. And he himself admitted that he's going to play an obscure game from 2002, but he's going to be upset that he doesn't have 30,000 viewers while doing it. Just treat it like a job. Sometimes in streaming, you have to do things that you don't want to do. Just go and just chatting and talk about the exact same thing if you want more viewers. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing wrong with social commentary chats. There's nothing wrong.
Just so you all know, I don't care about hiring a production team and flying around a country while being the most obnoxious person that I could possibly be.
Very fair. It is incredibly disruptive to today's modern society to just have these nuisance streamers ruining people's lives for profit.
I don't care about riling up either political side.
What did he say that made you think he's specifically upset about his viewer count? How he's complaining about his lack of success when all he's doing is playing 2002 Red Alert and other people are getting more viewers than him. It's very easy to tell the bitterness in what he's saying right now. There's a lot of resentment. Some I think is justified, some I think is misplaced.
I don't particularly care about playing Metal Gear Solid, the new Snake Eater version, even though they sent me a load of stuff, which is lovely. I'll show you the stuff they've sent me. I was sat here for about an hour before I clicked go live thinking, what do I want to do? Because from a business point of view, I should be playing the big games. I should be getting people angry. I should choose a specific demographic and
I don't think making them angry is the correct choice. I think making your audience informed and having a reasonable discussion bears just as much fruit for like calling out the problem children, also gets you just amount of views as the rage baiters. I don't know why he's lacking that perspective. You don't have to do that. That is a strategy, but you don't have to.
Rile you up against whoever I decide is your enemy this week. I should make you feel that you are being seen and heard. I should be a lightning rod for extreme things, because people don't want entertainment. They want confirmation bias. They want to be told what they already know in another slightly more intelligent sounding way and think, oh, that's made me feel even better about myself. Give this person money. And
I don't really see what's wrong with people like Asmongold, for example, who breaks down perspectives in an eloquent way that's easier to digest to enlighten one's understanding in a more methodical, a more, nuanced approach. I don't really think there's anything wrong with that. I don't know. I don't know why he hates that so much, especially because Josh Strife Hayes himself does that so much. I'm not really sure why he has such resentment for enlightening people, informing people, when that's kind of why people go to see him as well. I don't really see why he's so upset about this.
Honestly, that all sounds like bullshit. So let's pretend it's the Allies versus the Soviets again and send some small soldiers to kill some other small soldiers. That sounds like a much... In fact, you know what? You don't even deserve this resolution on the webcam. I'm dropping this down. Perfect. You have a lower resolution webcam. That's what you get. Yeah, I basically realized that I absolutely hate streaming culture. I think streaming culture is completely... I think it's childish and vapid at the same time. Because unfortunately, I've met people that are really into... Whenever you say to someone, hey, do you watch streams? And they're always like, yeah, I watch the most obnoxious, annoying, irritating person you can possibly think of because it's fun. No, it's not. It's irritating. And when you meet... Because the problem is that there is a huge amount of people who are very emotional. And there's a huge amount of people.
The problem with his perspective right now is he's not giving an alternative to how people should blow up and what people should find entertaining. He's kind of shitting on the majority of every single medium and not saying why people should go watch streaming. Like, I understand. I understand why you don't want people to just make everybody angry. I understand why you don't want people to go in public and bother people's lives personally. But I understand why he doesn't want people to go live, inconvenience people, and make people angry for a career. I get that. I don't understand why he's angry at people who want to provide a more nuanced perspective in a way that's easier for everyone to understand. That makes no sense. Like, it really just sounds like he's mad about absolutely everything. I don't get it.
Who are very emotional in the exact opposite way. And if you choose one of these sides of people, you can make a lot of money because you just rile them up against the other side. And it's not even always political. Sometimes it's just sociological, sometimes it's economical, sometimes it's just cultural in general. You choose one of the sides and tell them the other side is wrong. You are great, you're fantastic, support me, give me lots of money. That's great. I will be your champion. However,
And also, I want to remind you, what he's doing right now is exactly what he said that he would never do. Like, he's participating in that us versus them mentality that, you know what I'm saying? So, like, this does come across as very hypocritical, unfortunately. He seems very bitter and very elitist right now. I've yet to see a perspective brought for what people should actually do.
In the middle, and this is not, again, political spectrum, it's mainly in the middle socially and culturally, there's the idea that you just kind of want to play video games. We just kind of want to hang out, be normal, chill out, see friends, see family, make enough money to pay your bills, survive, pay your rent.
Yeah, but like, what are you gonna do that's making these video games so fun? Right? You have one or two options. One is to be incredibly good at that video game, which of course Josh Strife is not. He's not good at video games. Like, he's not a professional. That's what people watch people. And the other people are storytellers, right? So storytelling is essentially the same thing as like, social commentary or, just talking shit while you're playing a game. Like, I don't really know, like, then what separates a good streamer from a bad streamer? Like, you know what I'm saying? Is like, he's kind of villainizing any type of entertainment medium because just play video games, make thousands of dollars and be happy. Like, while that's cool, I think it's good that there are optional facets for you to do while you're playing video games to be interesting. Like, for example, when I played Genshin Impact, when Asmongold played World of Warcraft, people didn't watch us because we were good at the game. They watched us because we had a game that they liked in the background while we talked about things that they were enjoyed in, right? Like Burnt Peanut is another example. Like Burnt Peanut isn't like the greatest video game player, but he's entertaining because he's a good storyteller. He's a good moment maker, right? So like, I mean, you gotta have to be cool with people just shooting the shit and talking about what's on their mind, because that's way more sustainable regardless. Just having a game that you think is cool in the background while someone's saying some shit that you find, you know, relatable.
Maybe grab a takeout on the weekend, enjoy whatever film there is out there, you know, go bowling, play laser tag, that kind of general normal vibes. The problem is, those people, despite being a bigger amount of the population in general, aren't watching Twitch. They're out doing the stuff that's fun. You guys, from what I've kind of worked out, are the normal people on Twitch. Because if you weren't, you would be at another streamer who is on one of the extreme sides, getting your confirmation bias sucked directly from the teat of information. The normal people are either out touching grass or here. Now, I'm not normal either. I was sat...
But didn't you just say that you didn't want to go into the us versus them, but then you also just did the us versus them right now, giving you your confirmation bias on your chat? Man, this sucks, because I actually really like this guy, but this might be one of the worst clips of him I've ever seen.
Before streaming, this is what started this whole rant. I was sat here before streaming thinking, what do I want to play? And I thought, you know what? I don't want to paint Warhammer live on stream, despite the fact I've got like 100 high elves sat in front of me that I need to finish, because that is my mental break, my mental time off. I'll stick this total side thing, but at the minute I'm really into book talk for some reason. We'll talk about that in a second. But I realized I don't want to paint Warhammer. That is my...
Yeah, so all the normal people can't watch streams, but if you watch Josh Strife Hayes, you're normal. If you watch anybody else, you're retarded. You see what I mean? Like, when people have an issue like this and they don't provide an alternative of how it should be or what the solution is, it just comes off as very bitter and resentful. It's kind of not a good look, to be honest.
Side break. So instead, I'm going to play a 1996 video game. That's what we're going to do. I've just confirmed...
You should accept the fact that you are playing a game that nobody wants to watch, and you should be okay with that, because that is your choice. Right? You shouldn't expect to be making millions of dollars by playing something that people just don't give a fuck about, right? You at a certain point as a streamer, like to be honest, there are some topics where I'm like, okay, I guess I'll talk about this game because I know it's good for business, but I'm always going to give my authentic perspective on it. And there are games where like, I don't really want to play, but I'll give them a shot because I think they're good on stream, right? Like, so like for example, like when I played like that Content King game, I was like, oh, okay, I'll try it. I know it's good for stream to play it. I gave up on it in 30 minutes because like I can't stomach this, right? But like there's business games, there's for fun games. The important thing is to find what's good for business and what's good for your mental, and what's good for business and what's good for your mental in one. If you do all business, you're gonna be miserable. If you're gonna do all mental, you're gonna be a failure. So you have to find what's in the middle. Whether you like it or not, streaming is a job, and you have to find the perfect balance within the two.
Your bias that you are normal.
Do you think I wanted to play Genshin Impact for 2 years? Fuck no. But I needed to find it out from where I was, because the important thing is to always evolve. And that's what I've tried to do. I think if you were to watch my stream from today versus my stream from 8 years ago, you're not even looking at the same guy.
And not extreme in any way. There you go. See, I'm aware of where I sit within this dichotomy of streamers. Dead in the middle. We are going to be neither over nor underwhelming. We are just whelming. Every one of my viewers is someone who has more important on their primary monitor. And what you want on your secondary monitor is a content creator who you can look away from for 5 minutes, come back, and not much has changed. That's what you want. I am the backup Netflix. You want something in the background, but you don't want to pay attention to it. You just want to know when you come back and look at it, there'll be just enough there. I'm like a sugar block. You know, the horses have those big sugar bricks that occasionally when they get bored, they walk over, lick the sugar brick, and then walk away. That kind of, I don't know what to do, but I'm going to do something vibes. That's what I bring to Twitch. What's the phrase? I'm like the Windows maze screensaver of Twitch. You put me on when you aren't sure what else is going to go on.
You know, I normally wouldn't post that to my YouTube because that clip makes him look not too great. But he posted this himself. I don't know. That was really odd. Let me know what y'all think. Feel free to leave a comment. See you on the next one.